Hey guys, Mabinogi here, and today we're talking about Mabinogi. More specifically, let's talk about character customization. If you didn't know, Mabinogi is a free-to-play MMORPG with graphics that are more than a little dated, but even still, players have found a way to make characters their own. So today, I've gathered a few players from the community to ask questions about what went into designing their character and whether or not it was hard to do with Mabinogi's current customization system. The interview portion of this video was conducted via messages, so if you don't mind, I'll be reading off their answers, but bear in mind that these are entirely their words. Without further ado, like where all inspiration comes from, desire, preference, interest, and personality. If you're specifically asking about the maid that everyone has come to know, then it is obviously because I like maids. As for how I carry myself has absolutely no relation to being a maid, as it just happens to fit well together. Mabinogi has a certain freedom in terms of cosmetics, but has its limits and flaws. However, that shouldn't be an excuse, as it is somewhat enough for someone to try to achieve what they want to look like. All the more satisfying when they finally settle on a particular look that may very well end up becoming what they are. If I had to say if it were hard, it honestly depends on person to person and design to design. I've always loved the colors red and white, and try to incorporate the colors in everything: eyes, hair, clothes, even pets. Obtaining said items to design your character is more difficult, as the supply and demand for the items may be too high. But overall, it's fairly easy. What other game lets you become a raccoon? And for that, with Mabinogi's current system, it was pretty easy. I wanted a pretty color scheme that included green. To be honest, that's really all I wanted. At first, she was actually white and a more emerald green, so I changed it to something that I'd feel happy looking at all day, every day. Mabi's current system is fantastic to create the most unique character ever. I know lots of games rave over cosmetics, but I just can't seem to find a game that has this many hairstyles, this many eye types, and especially this many mouth types. I really don't think any other game could compare. Like, there's a whole name based off of fashion for those that do that instead of fighting the game: Fashionogi. It was super easy to find the right color scheme for me. To be honest, the only hard part was when the 3-part dye system became 6, and dyes became way more expensive. Also, at some point, I saw people copying my pastel pink and mint green color scheme too, so the dyes were hard to come by. But other than that, it was really easy. Peach Butter just wants to be peachy. I would like it if they made gacha outfits have a toggle feature for their idol animations and do away with the special or regular deal. Mabinogi is an old game that many people find themselves revisiting to this day, and though there have been numerous reviews of the state of the game in the year 2020, I find that most people don't seem to dwell on the visual aspect of the game, with the most common criticisms being that the game is ugly and outdated. And though this may be an unpopular opinion, I can't help but find myself disagreeing with that. Yes, Mabinogi is an old game, and yes, it is a little rough around the edges, but in a weird way, that's what makes it special. There's an argument that can be had that this look is stylized. As a friend once told me, Mabinogi is a 2D game that pretends to be 3D, and honestly, that in and of itself is kind of impressive. The amount of individuality that can be achieved in this game despite the game's graphical limitations is an achievement. Is it ugly or stylized? Is it dated or an aesthetic? That's something you should decide for yourself. But to the Mabinogi community, what this game has to offer is more than enough to allow them to create a character that is truly their own. And that's something I can appreciate. In Mabinogi, Your fantasy life can be pretty unpredictable. You're bound to cross paths with many people from many places, all with their own stories, their own experiences. This is Going the Extra Mile. Welcome to Kansas City, Missouri, where we're meeting a fellow member of the Mabinogi community. Meet Crazy Tim, the man of many sevens, hailing from the Alexina server. He was nice enough to take some time out of his day to show me around his hometown, and also talk about Mabinogi. Without further ado, let's go.
So, actually, for a while, this place was actually abandoned, like in the mid 1950s, 60s, when they started to kind of incorporate the airlines because it was faster travel.
All right, so when did you start playing Mabinogi?
Oh, that one. Okay. So, do you remember Pirates of the Caribbean Online?
Yes, I do actually.
So, like back then, I was like in middle school, and I used to play that game all the time. And I was trying like different MMOs at the time because my uncle, he used to play like World of Warcraft a lot. And I was trying out different ones, but I really like Pirates. I also used to play Free Realms. I used to play those. They're dead now. And I found one that was I found Mabby on there, but I didn't like play it a lot. But I had made a character and I played for a little bit, but I was mostly focused on Pirates. I didn't come back to Mabby until like I was in high school. Actually, no, after I was graduated, I came back to it, and I sat down and I just started playing, and I just never stopped.
Missouri's not bad. Like, I mean, I've met a lot of people who have moved here from like California and Texas and Florida. Like all the people like who there's a lot of people who move to Missouri because it's cheaper to live here. But like I grew up here. This is my home.
Hello, could I get a onion rings and
Back when people put like kiosks all up against Dunbarton, I had found this one. I found one of these hats for like 20 or 50K in them, and I loved it. I put like anytime I would see one, I would always get one. It was just like, ooh, piece of candy. Ooh, piece of candy.
And you actually recreated this hat like in real life for cosplay purposes.
Oh my god, yes. It kind of a sad story, but also a happy story. Well, I had the idea to make this cosplay, but I didn't have any clue of how to go about making it. And I had a lot of help from my grandparents at the time. And my grandfather actually got to help me make this hat, which was really, really cool. I miss him. He passed, sadly. It's okay though. It's kind of like a nice farewell gift. It's also kind of a nice reminder. Is like he's like this guy who's like larger than life, and he like anytime I look at the hat that we made, is like I'm always reminded of him.
It sounds silly, but like for the longest time I wanted dinosaurs in the game, just because. But then they had the ReZero event, and you could get the little raptor mount. That made my dreams come true. But for a long time, I really wanted like more places that I could go, not just Ulad, Iria, and Belvast. Like just a bit more world map to go to it'd be really cool, because Mabby's got a lot of really cool stories in it. The Roria and the Knights, those stories broke my heart.
Bye-bye.